Hello and welcome to 9 Months, India's first and only comprehensive show about pregnancy. My name is Meghna Pant and I've enjoyed being pregnant, but now I'm fast approaching D-date. Yes, the very dreaded delivery date. Although I'm very excited to hold my little bundle of joy, I have to confess, I'm also slightly nervous and afraid about the labor pains. And talking about pain relief, I've heard very often that the fathers actually faint in the delivery room. And I find this very funny, but I've also heard that you are the best friend. I have a lot of friends, who were in the labor room with you, a lot of fathers, and they said you were their best friend throughout the delivery. Now, what role should fathers play during delivery and in the labor room? Because I think these lines are kind of have blurred over the generations also.
See, basically, they have to be supportive. That's the only thing they can do at that time.
Yeah.
Because again, when I go in there and they say she's in a lot of pain, and when we do the epidural, we prefer everybody waiting outside. And the husband says, should I wait inside or should I go outside? And I say, you are equal partner in crime. You might as well, be there. If you can't suffer the pain physically, at least feel mentally, so that you are in sync with your wife and you are together.
Exactly.
So that's very important. And that's the bottom line, basically. You just have to be there, supportive, and be there for your wife to make sure that, she knows that you are there for her, whatever is happening, whatever you can do. You can't actually do actively anything, but at least mentally and psychologically you could be supportive. That's, I think, more than enough.
He should be there so she has someone to yell at.
and more than that, scratching and pulling the clothes, then we are spared, if he's there.
One of the reasons for epidural is to prevent the wife from kicking the husband.
We'll take full pleasure in that, I think. Okay. And one of the other things that, I guess movies like Three Idiots have romanticized it, but it actually happens in reality also. Is that sometimes due to whatever unforeseen circumstances, a woman is left, to make an emergency delivery, or a couple is left for that. So in that case, Dr. Kabaria, what should they do?
Okay, the first thing that one has to remember is not to panic. Most deliveries don't happen like that. If they would, so even if you do go into labor and it's raining heavily and it is going to take you an hour and a half to get to the hospital, don't panic. Make sure you get everything packed. Don't touch it while running out of the house. You have a good couple of hours to reach the hospital. It's okay. Most of them, more than 95% of the time, you're not going to end up delivering in the car or on the way there. Unfortunately, if that happens, there is actually nothing much you can do other than kind of prepare yourself by talking to your doctors to what to do in such circumstances. Or what you could do is kind of find out other nursing homes or hospitals around your home, closer to your home. So that's where you could actually divert to at least first aid would be available in most places, and so that's the most you can do. But worrying about that eventuality, I think there's so much more that can go wrong. This is hardly
It was possibly more common when people were having their 5th and 6th child and did not really feel the labor pain and were ready to pop. Like when we were training as residents, even people with previous 2 C-sections would reach the hospital ready to pop. And so, which is actually a situation where we are advised not to try for labor. So those kind of things were a thing of the past. Now with 1 or 2 children, that too, heavyweight children, it's not something very common. But though you read about a train delivery or a plane delivery once in a way. I mean, as you can't create a sterile environment out of nothing, but hand wash and things like that would help.
Now, one of the other very overwhelming concerns for most women is lactation and breastfeeding, and a lot of people go for these classes, lactation classes, or consult lactation experts. Our mother's generations feel like this is, again, very sort of nervous kind of parents, and it's a natural process. So in your experience, what have you seen in your hospital? Do you feel like it's, are there any secrets to it, or do you think you should just let nature take its course?
I am a bit conservative, though not from the mother's generation. Primarily, have you seen the best breastfeeding mother? You see them on the traffic signals. You see them in the chopper pattis. They have never been for an antenatal lactation class. How to hold the baby, football position, volleyball position, and all kinds of things. I don't mean to make a mockery of what is happening, but we are kind of trying to convert natural, instinctive responses into an art form. You know, so that's where the whole pressure comes in. The whole building knows that this mother is not breastfeeding and she's topping up her feed and she feels, oh God, what have I done? I have given her top feed. There's unnecessary pressure being created.
Okay.
So, yes, I mean, there are videos of how to latch on a baby. There are classes where people show you the same videos. We have lactational consultants at the hospital.
Right.
They come in, but we still see a lot more engorged breasts and cracked nipples than you see in our general wards, in our general hospitals, where patients are absolutely poor. They just take the baby and put them to their breast, and it happens. You know, so I personally feel this whole pressurizing a woman to be the topmost breastfeeder in the city is actually working contrary to the whole thing.
So it's much ado about nothing. Let's just nature sort of
like I said, I think it's being kind of overdone now. Overdone. Everything needs to be an art and a skilled thing now. So and then everybody has the same problem again and again, in spite of all the experts around you. Whereas those who have never met an expert have much fewer problems.
That's good to hear, actually. That's a relief, you know. A lot of, I think parents today are trying too much to be super fathers and super mothers. So maybe
the basic truth is, I know this is bad for business, but more than 90% of the patients will have the same outcome whether they meet a doctor ever in their pregnancy or not.
That's true.
Only 10% will do better because they have got a doctor overlooking their pregnancy for complications and things like that. It's an extension of your body. Pregnancy is an extension of your body. It's not something pathological. It's not an illness. It's not something, you know, that has been given only in this generation and never happened before. Got to relax a bit. Have faith.
That's good to hear. I can also take deep breaths now. I know.
The only concern with this newer generation is a lot of solitary family.
Yes.
That's the only concern why this, and as Kurush said, you know, awareness, women empowerment, access to this, you know, media and information, that makes them worry more. And because they don't have any backup at home, being solitary, you know, in olden days, mother, there's somebody just taking care and things are going on. Here they have to do everything, so that's where kind of, you know, puts them off. So it's very important to just be relaxed and go natural and let the natural instinct take over. It happens.
But unfortunately now, sorry to say, but a senior mother-in-law around them tend to dismiss them off as they don't know a thing about anything. You don't talk. You don't do this. I think this aggression has kind of become a bit too much. You know, the mothers are looking at you like, doc, I have brought her up.
Exactly.
I have breastfed her.
Kept you safe.
Now, don't touch my child without hand scrub. Don't do this. Don't do that. I mean, so people have become a bit too involved in their own immediate 2-3 people, and the concern for the wisdom that comes with age and experience is lost.
You know, and I think it all goes away in 2 weeks when reality hits, and there's a mom. You know,
please help us.
So it's all
especially if you're abroad, then
exactly. So it's all very good, and listen, this is how I want my kid to be brought up. No bright colors, put off the TV. I want surround him with Mozart. And like in my head, you know, after having 2 kids, it like a switch goes off saying, okay, like, see you in a month. You know, you'll be like, somebody please take this kid for an hour, I need a nap.
No, absolutely, I'm sure. But you know, talking about overwrought mothers, this is a very bad time to ask this question during the interview. But as a first-time mother, I also ended up packing my hospital bag. I think towards the end of the 7th month, 8th month, I already started getting things sort of rolling, which I am completely aware is completely, you know, anxious mother, first-time mother, anxiety or whatever. But in reality, like, when should mothers start packing, parents start packing the bag, and what should they put in it?
So packing the bag is more like an ongoing process. It's not one day you just say, okay, 7th month done, let's pack the bag. It's more like collecting things that you may need in your hospital. I think a conversation with your doctor is important depending on where you're delivering as to what the hospital will provide initially.
Okay.
Will they be giving gowns to the moms? Will you be, or wearing clothes of your own?
Yeah.
Will they be providing wraps for the baby, or do you have to kind of bring? So all of that needs to be bought initially, at least a few pairs of them needs to be washed and folded neatly and brought to the hospital. So pack the bag in two parts, one for the mom and one for the little one. For the mom, a comfortable pair of flip-flops, hair ties, sanitary pads, a lot of underwear, a comfortable pillow if needed, a breastfeeding pillow if needed, phone chargers, things like that, things that tend to get kind of left out, a little bit of reading if it's going to be a long stay in the hospital. And for the baby, people buy a lot of onesies not realizing that the cord is not going to fall off yet. So side snap vests. Then some mothers don't prefer diapers immediately post-delivery, so even cloth nappies need to be washed and brought. So we have a comprehensive list we give out to all mothers, which is just basically a printed version of our list when we were kind of expecting. So that's what we do. And other than that, a few things extra. If you've registered for stem cell banking for your child, you have to remember to take that along as well. Remove the ice packs from the freezer, take the whole box with you. Whether to do it or no is another conversation, but if you have, you need to take that along as well. So it's not a very big list, and most moms tend to freak out. Suppose you are at office and you need to rush to the hospital and you have not brought your hospital bag, nothing is going to go wrong. So it's not something mandatory, but it's part of the experience, so why not?
And the bag can always be brought later after 6 hours.
Of course,
if it is left at home, so it's not like a big deal.
I think this is like doctors pointed that over preparation is also,
just too much of
there's a little bit of fun in it also.
Where
so
you are going to deliver, only on the day of discharge you need to bring your baby's clothes and take the baby home. Everything else will be done for you.
Yeah, good. That's great to hear.
We take pampering to a different level.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
That's why they don't feel like leaving. That's the problem.
Might just check into the hospital.
They're like, okay, now what do I do?
So many nurses.
Nobody's going to come at night when the baby cries. No, but it's
Exactly.
okay. Everybody manages.
Yeah, definitely.
And all the positives the negatives fade away.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're all excited about that. So I'm going to wrap up the interview with the final question, which is, I ask each of you one sort of myth or misconception about labor and delivery that you've heard over the years, which is completely unfounded, and mothers and fathers don't have to worry about it at all. So I'll start with you.
Well, I feel most people by the 8th month start fearing the pain and the duration of labor. Therefore, sometimes they are on the verge of, can we do a C-section and all. But I think our counseling that ultimately epidural is there, we can kind of, after the initial mild to moderate contractions, when you are in the actual active phase, you will be totally pain-free, more or less. So I think the pain, the duration is possibly their biggest fear. As to, and of course, lactation at the end of it, first minute the baby is born, baby has to crawl to your breast, otherwise baby won't bond to you. I mean, adopted babies love their parents more than breastfed babies. I mean, I think this is, so just let the mother relax primarily.
I think the biggest myth now, in society is that the doctors are out there to cheat you. So you really need to trust somebody, and if you don't trust them, as he said, over the course of the last 6 or 8 months, something is wrong. So you really need to trust your doctor. And the thing now is that no patient is a fool. If I tell a patient, okay, your baby is in distress, we need to do an emergency C-section, it is backed up with actual evidence. There is a tracing of the baby's heart rate, which you can Google, you can send to 100 doctors around and get an opinion. So it's become very hard for doctors to actually blatantly cheat somebody. And most doctors don't want a poor outcome,
And that's not, most of us are in for cheating or something.
In the long run, it doesn't work anyway. And if you are with somebody who actually wants the best for you, you have to understand that minimizing risk is a significant part of childbirth now. Because, it's most of my patients say, one baby and we're done, I want everything to be okay now, and that's it. And it's big pressure both on the parents and the doctor. So the stakes are very high. You need to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Things sometimes still do go wrong, but you have to kind of actively minimize the risk. So treat your doctor like a friend. He's part of the journey, and just make it a happy one.
Yeah, definitely. Again, great tip. I'm sure all the mothers and fathers are listening to this. Dr. Parekh?
The biggest myth, as far as I'm concerned, with the labor epidural analgesia, is there's a lot of misconception. People think that you take epidural, you get backache later in life.
Yes.
And unfortunately or fortunately, it's not true at all.
Okay.
That's the biggest myth that I've come across. And there is definitely no scientific evidence whatsoever that epidural brings on long-term backache.
Okay.
When we talk about risk, when I say 100% not safe and there are risk of somebody getting paralysis, all those risks are 1 in 1 lakh to 1 in 2 lakhs. Okay, so they are stratified.
Yeah.
We have epidural has been practiced for last 45-50 years. It's not something that has come in fashion in last 5 years.
Exactly.
Last 5-10 years it has become more popular, more and more people are going for it because all these myths and doubts are getting cleared.
Right.
In this 50 years there is not a single article, single journal, single paper which has done a research and said yes, there is definite connection between epidural and backache.
Okay.
If there was a 1 in 1 lakh chance, we would rate it, but there is not.
Okay.
So there is absolutely no scientific evidence whatsoever that epidural brings on backache.
Okay.
On the contrary, there is a definite study and research which says that 8 to 10% of women who never had backache in their life ever went on to become pregnant and delivered the baby irrespective of with epidural, without epidural, normal delivery or a C-section.
Okay.
8 to 10% women will develop a new backache post-delivery.
Okay.
The pointer is, it's the pregnancy and post-pregnancy care, the postnatal care is the risk factor for backache.
Okay.
Unfortunately, 6 months down the line, you don't remember that you didn't do your postnatal exercise well, or your feeding posture was not right, or you didn't kind of get your posture correct, you were not taking care of your baby properly, but you will always remember that I was poked in my back and somebody told you in your mind that you took the epidural, now you're going to get backache.
Okay.
And that's the biggest myth as far as we are concerned, and that's something which kind of puts a lot of women back and say, no, I think I don't want to take it because I will probably get backache, and that's something that needs to be clarified. And
no, that's a good point. I think my baby is kicking in approval.
Absolutely. All is well.
Thank you. All is well.
Another big fear is Dr. Ketan on holiday when I am delivering?
I'm sure. Hopefully that won't happen with me.
So when you are going to deliver her and you are going to make her pain free, what am I going to do?
You're going to charge her.
You're going to go on social media.
I'll
Social
put the
media
baby's
chara-
pictures up.
live tweet the
Live
birth.
tweet the birth.
You put the baby's pictures up.
Okay, great.
Yeah, great. So thank you so much, doctors, for joining us. I know you all are very busy, so thank you so much. We really appreciate this, and I'm sure it'll be the best 9 months of most mothers' life when they hear all this advice coming from experts. So thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
thank you very much.